Don't edit that out.
The hell?
Do not edit that.
Oh yeah, that is definitely getting cut.
Nope. Hey, welcome to the Reset with Nico Blue and Kenny Burns. That's me. It is August 10th, this 2020. Nico, how you doing, girl?
Kenny, I'm doing pretty swell.
I like the pigtails, man.
Oh,
Pigtails is rocking. I'm loving it. Yes.
You know, it's my go-to. You got all this hair, like you're always looking for ways to tame it, keep it just from going everywhere. So yeah, this is one of my go-to.
Is that a good
styles.
sleep sort of hair?
Absolutely. I
so
sleep
you kind
with
of just
it.
like wrap it and all of that, or do you even need to wrap it?
It would be great if I could wrap it. Like whenever I try to wrap my hair, a scarf will not stay on my head. It's off within 5 minutes. It just will not stay. It's always been like that. So I don't even bother trying anymore because it's just not worth it. But yeah, I like to, if my hair, I think this is the first time I've worn my hair straight on the podcast.
Yeah.
I just like, I'll braid it. Just usually braid it, or I used to like put it in a bun or something just to try to and sometimes, you know, you're really tired and you just don't want to mess with it. Just wake up looking like a lion. My dad used to call me in the morning when I get out of bed and he'd see me. He used to call me slave girl Mula. Apparently she was like some wrestler from like way back in the day or something.
I remember Mula. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I'm a wrestling fan, so you know.
Oh, okay. I thought
you know, she was wrestling until she was like in her 80s.
50s or 60s. Oh, okay. So she probably was wrestling in the 50s and 60s and later on. Okay. Yeah. Well, that was my nickname in the morning, Slave Girl Mula. So this is just sort of a necessity style. It's easy and you say it's cute.
We got something in common. I don't wrap my hair either. So,
oh, why not? Like, do you wake up looking like
I mean,
Kamala?
If I put the
Looking
scarf
like
on, it'll just slide off, you know, like so.
I'm sure it probably slides off of your head even faster than it slides off of mine.
We got the same problem, so.
Oh, yeah. So relatable. So relatable. All right. You ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
Get into the nitty gritty.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. We know Joe Biden is this close to announcing who his running mate will be.
Yeah. It's been a soap opera, man.
This has been, and I'm like, I'm trying to figure this out. I was like, is it because it's definitely going to be a woman? And this is why there are all these theatrics. I had seen, I can't remember what publication it was, but they got some criticism because they kind of referred to it as like, oh, who's going to get the rose? Like a reference to The Bachelor. Who's going to get the rose? And people are like, that is really sexist. Like,
yeah, like I was, that's just, who I can't even talk.
Yes,
looks
exactly.
at that and says, oh, this is a good idea. Let me post that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and whoever approved it and approved that, like, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I do think it does have a little bit, because I think when Ferraro, when Janine Ferraro, she got a lot of that as well. Sort of Sarah Palin got that a lot of initial press, but I think with them it wasn't like a guarantee it was going to be a woman. Yes. So the lead up to it wasn't happening like it's happening now. It was more
they just happened to pick a woman. Exactly. Right. Now this is just turned into something different, Veep stakes.
Yeah.
So just to put it out there, not that it's any shock to anybody, I am still team Stacey Abrams all the way, all day. Okay. Now I know that she's not showing up on anybody's short list when all these publications are like, this is the short list, here's the short list, and Stacey's not on it. I get that. And okay. It still does not mean that she would not be the best option, because this is what is happening. There are all these names that are out there. And as we've talked about before, there are major, just like downsides to everyone. There are major things. Okay, so obviously Kamala still top spot.
Yeah.
This was frustrating though, because what was it, like 2 weeks ago, when she was getting dragged and slammed in the press because apparently all of these Democrats Chris Dodd.
Your boy Chris Dodd, yep.
Chris Dodd, who is the person who is working directly with Biden to choose his VP pick, was leaked saying everyone's talking about Kamala negatively, Democratic donors, same thing. But the things that they were saying about her, we think she's too ambitious. She just wants to be president. Which have they ever accused a man in politics of being too ambitious? Like,
well,
what?
The prime issue with that argument is the fact that, if you are going to be a vice president, you should be ready day one to be president. That's
usually what they want. They want to groom that person to be able to be elected as president in succession. Usually that is a really desirable quality in a man, but they're talking about this Black woman. Oh, she's too ambitious and she wants to be president. Like, I thought that was a good thing. The other thing that they were saying about her is they were really going in on her criticism of Biden during the debates when she was running for the nomination. And she had called him out on his voting history with busing, with school busing, integration. And she called him out. And these people now are saying like, oh, she was too hard on him. She was unfair. That was a low blow. And I'm like, in politics, when you're running against somebody and you bring up their voting record, that's a low blow. Like, what world am I living in?
Her response to that was, it was just politics, which I think they scoffed at, but it was the right answer. That's the right answer. It's just politics.
It is politics. And they were like, oh, well, how is she going to run with him now after she criticized him in that way? I'm like, does this not happen every single election? Now, whether they end up as running mates, that has happened. Or if that person just ends up endorsing the person that they just criticized, that happens every single election. What is the difference? The only difference here is that this is a Black woman and not a white man. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm seeing. And so as we know, and as you know, I'm not, Kamala's like number one cheering section. I'm Team Stacey, but I am not okay with the way that they were treating her during that particular news cycle, and trying the points that they're criticizing her on. I was like, that's ridiculous. And I feel like it's only happening because she is a woman or possibly a Black woman, and not okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying for the Democratic side. It's really weird because I don't know what the aim is, like what was the purpose of leaking that? You know what I mean?
Same
It kind of doesn't make any sense. I haven't seen that sort of negativity from any other candidate outside of Kamala from the Democratic side.
Right. What the Republicans said that they did not want Kamala either, right? I think Republicans and Dems were saying that they did not want her.
I'm sure they've got some ammunition for her as well. It's sort of turning it into a sideshow now because now everyone's being starting to speculate, like Susan Rice has sort of risen to the top. Amy Klobuchar is now being talked about again. It's like,
no way.
No way.
No
That's,
way.
Come on.
And at this point, after all the gaffes and the things that he said, I don't know if you want to touch on what he said last week. That was so insulting and offensive. I am in agreement with so many others that he does need to pick a Black woman at this point. The Black women, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, Black people, but Black women in particular, are the backbone of the Democratic Party. No other group has shown up like Black women have. Black women are at the foundation of all these movements, are at the beginning and the end of the current Black Lives Matter movement. And it's just about time that Black women get some representation.
So I do want to touch on it because it goes right into what you were just saying. Because I remember when we talked about this in one of our previous episodes, I was saying how much I was a fan of Stacey and how much I love Elizabeth Warren, which has not changed. I still love Elizabeth Warren. However, him being, I don't understand how this man can be so prone to gas. Like, I understood what he was trying to say. So just to kind of recap, he was basically making a diversity comparison with Blacks and Latinos, you know, the Hispanic population. You could have said Hispanics were diverse without
and left it
ever
at that.
bringing us up.
Right.
Ever.
Right. Just say that.
My thing is, now you have put your foot in your mouth so many times. I think you have to answer with a Black VP for if you want this base to be happy with you. Now, is 90% still going to vote for you? Of course they are. If you know, but you have really sullied a base that's very solid right now for you. And if after that comment, he sullied it. And so if you want to glue it back together, you got to give us a Black lady.
What I am seeing and what I am reading is that it's become very apparent to me. Maybe other people had this figured out a long time ago, but it's become very apparent to me that the Black vote is taken for granted.
Oh,
they're
sure.
just like, we'll get that no matter what. And what I want to say is, do not bet on that, because Black people aren't going to go out and vote for Trump, but people will stay home.
Yep.
People will stay home and just be like, you know what? These next 4 years, it's a wrap. I don't care, because we're going to get screwed either way.
Either way. Yep.
Exactly. That will happen. It happened a little bit in the last election in 2016. Yep. It had already it will get worse. It can and will get worse. He really needs to not mess this up. So I've made it very clear that, yes, I'm all about Stacey, but at this point, I really do just want him to pick a Black woman. Do not mess this up, Joe Biden. And so if it's Kamala, I'm good. If it's Susan Rice, I'm good. Like, we know that there's these things in both of their, you know, that they will be easy targets, but I kind of feel like people know who they're going to vote for at this point. And I don't think Biden's VP is going to change that unless he does something like go with Klobuchar.
Yeah, exactly. If he were to go with Klobuchar or something like that, that would be
ridiculous. Yeah. At that point, I'm like, Joe, whatever happens, let me figure out where I'm moving.
But interestingly, with Susan Rice, the Republicans have put it out there. Like some of the Trump campaign members have actually put it out there that they've said, I quote, Susan Rice is our #1 draft pick for VP. So they have their guns cocked and ready for her.
And you think that's why? Because they're like, there's so much that we can like ding her on.
Yeah, I've been telling you that though. Like I think that is what they think. Now, whether it's true or not, because she can handle herself. But whether it's true or not remains to be seen.
We all know that there's obviously, she's got Benghazi. She's got,
she feels very confident. They feel very confident that they can, that's who they want. Like, they are super confident.
But like, to her point, there have been things that are exactly the same level as Benghazi, even worse, that have happened in the past 4 years. And
COVID.
You don't hear.
We have a Benghazi every
not
day.
Even talking about COVID, but I'm talking about we
have hundreds of Benghazis every day now.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying
I'm not talking about with the general public. I'm talking about something that was very comparable to Benghazi. That has happened during this administration.
And Russian bounties,
nobody talks about it. Also, Russian bounties. Benghazi still now in 2020 is not going to take Joe Biden or Susan Rice down. It's not.
Right. Now, here's an interesting thought that I had. I felt when I started hearing all of this that they were going to try to weaponize her son. Now, they have a very good relationship as far as, I know. Like, they talk about it. They're open about it, both of them. Her son is John Cameron Rice, and he's a Republican.
And he's a Republican, right?
Yeah, he's a Republican. He's a Trump supporter, all of that. And I was wondering, I'm like, if they're this confident, they have to have an ace up. You know how Republicans are. They're devious. And I'm talking about establishment Republicans. I want to be very clear about that, because I know some people that are Republicans that aren't establishment that are good people. I want to make that clear. But yeah, I'm wondering, like, if they're going to try to do something with that angle with him, because he's an avid Trump supporter. He makes it very clear.
I mean, there's so many angles. Yeah, they're like, oh, her own son isn't even going to vote for her. Benghazi, you know, they will use the same thing that some people, Democrats, would view as a positive for Susan Rice. Republicans will see that same thing as a negative. So the fact that she was a part of, you know, the Obama administration and the Clinton administration, you know, they're going to ding her on so much that happened during both of those administrations. But from the Democratic point of view, they look at her as like, this is like with Joe Biden and Susan Rice, this is like almost the closest thing that we could get to a return to the Obama days, because they were both, you know, top people in that administration. And so, and they already, obviously the two of them, they already have such a great working relationship.
And experience is not an issue for her.
The experience. I mean, you know, she's never run a campaign before because she was appointed, but yeah, experience out the wazoo. So, but that's what Republicans will also use against her, and, you know, for their base, like, oh my gosh, do you want 4 more years of Obama? You know, because that's what she and Joe represent.
They'll use that deep state tactic, you know, talking point. Yeah.
But yeah, I am absolutely for Stacey, but if it's Susan, if it's Kamala at this point, cool. Let's just keep it moving and like stop these theatrics and this. Yeah, like I'm sick of this circus. I have a feeling, well, I don't know. I keep thinking maybe it's going to be tomorrow morning. Today's Monday. So Tuesday morning. And I only say that because when I worked in marketing, they used to always release your big press releases on Tuesday morning. It was Tuesday morning. I want to say, was it 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something like that. So it was like still morning here on the East Coast. It was early morning on the West Coast on a Tuesday. So it's not a Monday where everyone's still like, Monday, and not too late in the week. So Tuesday mornings were when a lot of big announcements were made. I don't know if that's still the case, but it used to be the case. So I'm thinking, I almost hope not though, because I want to have this edited and up by this. And if it's tomorrow morning, I can't make that happen. But
well, I don't know. We could get that wish because the DNC convention is on Monday. It looks like, I'm looking at the date now, August 17th. Okay. He's definitely going to announce probably before then. So
they said by the end of this week.
Yeah, so we'll see. It could be tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, then I'm going to bank on probably he's dropping it as a Friday bomb, you know.
Yeah.
So carry the news cycle over the weekend.
I'm excited. I keep checking my email because like I'm on this mailing list, and he's like, do you want to be first to know? If you want to be first to know, sign up. I'm like, I want to be first to know. So.
Well, you already know the minute that news drops, it's popping up on all of our phones like Biden picks MVP. So we'll see it.
Yes. And I'm sure my phone will ring off the hook because everybody knows that I'm really passionate about this subject. So
yeah.
Cool. More to come. I'm excited, and we'll see. Next time we record, is it going to be a smiley face or a sad face? Like I said, I'll still have a smiley face. If it's Kamala, if it's Susan, I'll still be cool. If it's Stacey, I'll be like,
yeah, I'm definitely nervous. So we'll see.
If it's one of these other folks, we're gonna have an interesting conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on. I'm sorry, I didn't even mean to.
Well, I already know.
You already know.
I see the disgust in your face. Yeah.
Ooh. Bring it down, Nico. Bring it down a notch. I literally, my hair is starting to frizz. It's literally starting to frizz because I'm getting heated.
It happened on this topic. Like your hair just got frizzy on this topic.
Yeah. Okay. I am so sick of talking about Kanye. This is our 5th episode that we've posted online. And this is the 3rd one. 3 out of 5, we have talked about this man.
Yeah.
So like at first it was like, oh, he's doing this run for president thing. Haha. Then it was his mental health situation.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about Kanye anymore, but I agreed to talk about this today because what is happening right now is serious. This is serious and it's major, and I'm freaking pissed off. I'm trying so hard not to curse, Mom. I'm really trying hard. I cannot guarantee in this segment that I won't curse. I'm really going to try, but I am unhappy about this. So apparently, you know, Kanye was running, then he wasn't running, then he is running, then he wasn't running, and now he's running. Now he's running again. And he's apparently going to be on the ballot in 9 states, is it? That he's...
Yeah, 2 are pending, but 9 is what it's looking like. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the thing here is that the people that are helping Kanye with this bid to get on these ballots are people that are tightly woven into the GOP, to the Republican Party. And so this is now very clearly something that Republicans are doing. They are aiding him, they are pushing him, and they are making this thing possible because they believe that it will siphon votes from Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I find this whole thing just so despicable on so many levels because, one, like, that should be illegal. It just makes such a farce.
Yeah, in Ohio, they are actually trying to go after this because in Ohio is one of the states that's pending. They're trying to go after this. Yeah, legally. They're trying to defend, it's with this whole situation. I want to know because Kanye isn't the type of person to just take something or give something for free. That's just not his MO. I've never seen that with him. This is a give and take. So what is he getting out of this is what I'm trying to figure out. And I'm like,
okay, first of all, these people will promise the same way that they promised Candace Owens, like in the past, all the stuff that they've given her. Kanye is looking out for Kanye. Kanye wants power.
Yeah.
And so that is what this is for him. And it just makes him very dangerous. If you are willing to sell out your people for your potential gain and power and notoriety, like he also just wants his name in people's mouths. That's why I'm so angry to be talking about him because it's just giving him exactly what he wants. But that's what, all he talks about, even on his rant in that South Carolina campaign thing, he's always talking about, I should be on the board of this. I shouldn't, they won't let me into the fashion industry, and I should be. And that's all he ever talks about and rants about, is wanting to be, have power and prestige and respect. And I think that he definitely believes that all of these people in this party, giving him attention and I'm sure they're gassing him in a million different ways, and he's willing to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a stupid guy, so he knows he's not going to win. But he responded to these questions saying stuff like, I'm not going to argue with you, Jesus is king. And it's like, how do you argue with the person that says something like that? I'm not even argue. How do you even talk to a person that responds to you with a sentence like that? There's nothing you can say to that. And I think the strategy here for the GOP especially is to turn him into another Jill Stein. I feel like that's the main strategy because I think in Wisconsin in the 2016 election, Jill had won about 30,000 votes, and that was right in the margin of Trump winning that state from Hillary. And so I think they want to create more scenarios like that because it's obvious.
Yeah, siphoning votes.
Yeah,
exactly. This is what I have to say about this. Mm-hmm. At this point, Kanye is an enemy to the people. That's how I view it now. Kanye West does not care about Black people.
Amen, sister.
I am so serious. Kanye West does not care about Black people. Kanye West does not care about LGBTQ people. Kanye West does not care about women and women's rights. And he doesn't care about anyone who is an ally to any of those people. So anyone who falls into any of those groups or is an ally of any of those groups, if you are buying any Kanye West music, if you were buying or rocking Yeezys or them shitty ass clothes that he makes, then you are supporting somebody who is against us. Right. And that's what it is. Like, if he is willing to allow himself to be used in this way, seeing what is going on in our world with Trump as president, or in our country with Trump as president, you know, the 150, 60,000 people who are dead because of this disease that has not been managed properly, you know, the streets are turned upside down in our cities and everything that's going on. If you are willing to allow yourself to be used in this way, you're an enemy to us. And I do not want to see anyone that I know rocking anything that has to do with Kanye West. He is an enemy at this point. I am disgusted. I am so disgusted by this.
And it goes beyond just him being a Trump supporter. Like, him being a Trump supporter.
It is so far beyond that.
Is already alarming. But this, like you used the word despicable. It goes into that despicable range, because it's like, you already see the writings on the wall. You got your church fan. You have church fan.
Sorry, I'm gonna take it down a notch.
But it goes into that range of just, okay, so this is sort of the GOP landscape right now, how I see it. Okay, right now Trump is a very unpopular president. He's probably got 42 to 46% of the country, which is extremely unpopular. So here's the GOP's tactics to counter that. Okay, let's turn Kanye West into another Jill Stein in key states. Okay, let's use voter suppression and, make the post office now corrupt. The head of the post office, let's slow down production of our mail. Let's not pay people what they're owed. Let's cut their hours. Let's also utilize Russia to interfere with the election and have them come up with tactics to, manipulate people into voting for either Kanye or Trump or whatever the case may be. And overall, just suppress the vote. And it's like,
right.
How do you want to win, guys? Like, do you want to win on your policy?
They don't care.
Or do you want to win just by any means necessary? Like, it just, I would much rather want to have a winning policy instead of ramming something down people's throats that they don't like. If they don't like it, they don't like it, Yeah. But I think our prime motivation is exactly what you said for this topic. Is this broke? What was it? I think August 5th, last week sometime. We need to make sure, if we have any voice at all in our community, we need to make sure that people understand to not to waver in what they know is right. Don't look at Kanye and say, you know what, he's better than Trump. I don't really want to vote for Trump, but I don't like Biden. So
right.
That's not going to work. You can do that in 2024. Make those decisions then. Let's get past this guy. Let's keep our eye on the prize. That is a 1964 saying from the civil rights era. Let's continue to keep our eye on the prize. Do not let this, like you said.
Another group that I left out of that is old people. Kanye West does not care about old people either, our older populations, our parents and our grandparents, because those are the people that are dying off with this disease and the mismanagement of this disease. So that's another thing. If you have any older people in your life that you care about, Kanye West is an enemy. Of course, Trump, but it's this all of this. It's all of.
I was going to say that's a really good point you bring up. Sort of transitioning a little bit into COVID, it's like that right now I explained earlier that I think the only thing that's really going to get us out of this is a vaccine, but also leadership. That is, if we have leadership that can actually handle this, then we can maybe start moving towards being at the club and doing the things we used to do and moving forward when we can all get on the same page with our leader. But if we're torn in this manner, I just don't, and I don't, why he's contributing to this, I don't know, and he's basically admitted it, that he's doing it. So you can't,
And I'm just heartbroken in general. Like, I feel like maybe I just still live in the fantasy world of my childhood where in school, it's preached to you how great the US of A is. And,
right.
We're told that we're the greatest nation in the world. And, obviously I've woken up and seen more, but it's just like, no one cares about people anymore. It's like no one cares. Yeah. People care about power. They care about winning. They do not care about the people. And it just,
especially in this country, for sure. Yeah.
It is heartbreaking. And I just feel like there are so many things that have happened in the past 4 years that are just a threat to our country as we know it. If we are interested in continuing to have the democratic republic that we live in and that we have known for all these years, it is imperative to get Trump out of office. Mm-hmm. And again, Kanye aiding Trump in re-election just makes Kanye such an enemy. It makes him, and I'm disgusted, and like I don't want to hear anybody in my world at least like doing anything in support of Kanye, because it's just.
Well, I'm hopeful that this is our last Kanye topic.
I hope so too, because I don't like
think it will be, but I'm hopeful. Yeah. So.
Moving on, and I unfortunately
you sound like Rick Ross when you did that. That's a Rick Ross. That's what you did. Well, you did. You sound like Rick Ross.
Yeah, his rapey lyrics. Okay. I like to usually end with like a lighter topic. This isn't it. Today is not the day for that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you sent me this actually. Azealia Banks.
Yeah.
Rapper, Black female rapper. Really controversial. Not because of her music. Apparently her music is great. I'm not really familiar with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's just a controversial, mouthy person who seems to, maybe like our good friend Kanye, but her music is not as popular as Kanye's, but like likes to get attention for things other than the work.
Right.
But anyway, she put out a bunch of Instagram stories that basically indicated, what did she say? She said, I think I will end my tenure here on Earth soon.
Yeah.
She talked about voluntary euthanasia. And she said, this pandemic, extreme lack of social interaction, no intimacy, combined with the constant public ridicule is making life harder than it's worth. So it was over a couple of days. The week before, she had shaved her head online in a video.
Which is weird for her. That is a strange thing for her. She's very into her looks.
I didn't know that.
So I'll get into it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll let you finish. Yeah.
Yes, and she said that she's going to try her best to complete the projects that she's working on, that she's already promised to the world. But she says that she's just kind of done and she wants to go peacefully. She's like, I'm not, looking to do anything dramatic, but she wants to start researching euthanasia. And so, that was obviously very concerning for a lot of people to see her,
of course,
vocalize this. And so what is the natural response to that? Everybody's reaching out. Everybody's saying, hey girl, are you okay? Please, we love you. We need you. The world, don't end this. And then what was her response? Why don't you just share that part, Kenny?
Her response to that was essentially saying, where were you guys when my album was out, saying good things about me? Now that I'm saying this, now all of a sudden you want to give this attention. You want to post this on your Instagram. And where's that same energy, And it.
You know what she said? She says, what is this obsession you bitches have with my despair?
Yeah.
She said, show me love when I'm up, bitch. Not just when I'm down.
Yeah.
She's like, if you love me, that's great, but don't send me messages about how you care. When I've been screaming and shouting that I've been in trouble for a long time and asking for help for a long time, don't just respond to me when I'm ready to go. So she basically chastised and shamed everyone who was like trying to support her. And this is kind of goes in line with like her personality, right?
Right. I mean, she's had beef with Russell Crowe. Come on.
Well,
I mean,
he is problematic though.
He is problematic.
They both are, right?
But like just that sentence alone is Azealia Banks has beef with Russell Crowe. Like that doesn't make sense. Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You're right.
So yeah, with her, I've been in a relationship where I've had to deal with this, you know, and so obviously what she said was toxic, right? So the thing is you have to sort of, I'm really good at compartmentalizing things, so I can put things in a box over here and separate it. So any personal feelings and dislike that I may have for her antics and things like that, I can put it in this box. And then I can say, well, wait a minute, her life matters. She does not need to die. We don't want her to die. Yeah. And
it's like Herman Cain. It's like, I am no fan of Herman Cain, but like, damn. Yeah. I was hurt. I was sad when he passed, like, because it was senseless. But anyway, please continue.
Same thing here. And so like my personal issue, I won't name any names obviously, but it was a person that I dated. So it started kind of like just being irritable. So I say something, I do something, attitude, and then argument. And it just sort of escalates and it builds, you know, and then all of a sudden it's just like snapping over nothing. Then it would go from that to extreme emotional pain and distress, crying. Why are you crying? I don't know. Well, what's wrong? I don't know. Attitude again, you know, and then it goes from that, and then it just sort of escalates to I want to kill myself. And she literally said this to me. I just don't want to live anymore. I just want to kill myself. And so what being sort of like, I have sort of a mind where I think in a psychological way, and I'm just like, okay, my words are not going to help the situation. And so I think what's best for me to do is to show her that she is loved through action. So because this was my girlfriend at the time, I gave her a massage. I cooked for her, you know, and I did some things that I felt she would see as her being loved. And for that moment, because this happened numerous times, but for that moment it worked. And I think in the vein of Azealia, I think that is sort of what she's trying to say is don't just show up when I'm in this mode. Don't just come to my aid when I'm feeling like this or this, that, and the other. Show me that you love me through your actions all the time. And she just has a horrible way of communicating that because she's Azealia Banks. Of course she does. And I mean,
mental health goes beyond that. Other people cannot fix your mental health issues except for a doctor, you know, like your partner, your lover cannot cure your mental health. You know, a good job does not erase your mental health issues. And
you're right. Because she has a good job now, you know.
Right. Yeah. And then that's kind of why I was like, open to talking about this subject matter, because I believe it wasn't just to talk about Azealia, it was just the bigger issue of mental health, and particularly right now in this time. Like I just want all of us to be really, really, really hyper aware of how many people are struggling right now. Really, really struggling. I haven't seen what the numbers are, but I could guarantee that the suicide rate is up because I personally know several of my friends have one or two friends that they've lost to suicide in the past 5 months. Right. This is a really tough time. We just saw Tamar have a suicide attempt and be hospitalized after a suicide attempt. This is a woman who has an amazing career, a small child, like I think it's a 7-year-old son that she has. We just saw Nick Cannon after he got all the backlash from the anti-Semitic comments that he made on his podcast. He posted you know, something about, you know, posting from heaven and enjoy earth, and just, you know, saying how much pain he was in. And it made people like, is this like a suicide thing? It's just a really, 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 really tough time. Yeah. And I mean, that's what I wanted to highlight by even talking about this story, is just, we just have to be there for each other right now. We have 100%. We just got to show up for our people. We got to answer our phones. Like people like me who like don't always answer their phone, or kind of like, I got to answer my phone. And I know that I have dark times and dark days, and you know, I got to just make a call when I need to make a call.
Like you said, the biggest thing to do is to listen, you know, like, you know this story because I've told it to you numerous times, but, you know, one of my best friends, he sent us a text message 10 or 11 years ago, and it was very cryptic, did not say anything. It was just a goodbye. But because we know him, I'm listening. I'm like, wait a minute. This is a very weird message for him to send at this time, and to send it to all of us, you know, his mother, his dad, me, my other best friend. That's weird. So we immediately went to him, and he was if we hadn't have listened, he would not be here, and he's here now. You know, you have to listen to things like this, you know, like if I was Azealia's friend or things like that, for me, I would say to her, you know, number one, I think she's a beautiful girl. You know, I think she's extremely brave. I wish I had her level of braveness. She is straightforward. I mean, these are positive things that sometimes can be construed as negative, but they can be positive. And she can be funny. Basically, the main thing is like, your life matters, you know, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that I would want to try to convey to someone like her. And it's same thing with my friend, same thing with my ex-girlfriend. I want you to know your life matters. Like it, you know, I think we've all, I can't imagine, not to this level, but I would say all of us have had some point of our life where we've had suicidal thoughts. And it's like, okay, yeah, I might be saying it, but I'm not on the edge. And this, for me, feels like it's on the edge. And I think that this, and people like what she's going through, because she's not the only person going through this sort of thing, it needs to be taken seriously. Yeah. Sure.
Now, this is a whole different offshoot of this conversation. But I'm just interested, because I don't know how you feel about this. What do you think about euthanasia?
For humans?
Yes.
Well, of course, you know, I don't think anything religious about it. So that's not something that enters my purview. But I don't think it should be legal. I don't agree with it. I think you shouldn't put your life in someone else's hands, even if it's legal. Like if it was,
but you know, they see that as not putting their life in someone's hands. They see that as being able to take control of their own life, not.
Well, my thing is, then do it yourself. You know. So
just put a gun to your head as opposed to going through a humane process.
I think you're involving, you know, two people into a process. Like for me, it's even with the death penalty. I don't agree with that. Like that's not something that
but there are people, there are doctors, there are people out there who would be willing to do it. I mean, obviously Kevorkian,
of course,
and others.
I'm sure there are people that are willing to do it, but there are also serial killers that are willing to do it too, you know, like.
So you liken a euthanasia doctor to a serial killer?
No, I don't want to make that comparison like that. But what I'm saying is there are people that could fetishize something like that. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. It's one of those things that's kind of, I don't agree with it.
It's a no for you, bro.
Yeah, it's a no
for you, dog.
Yeah.
I have some, I don't necessarily disagree that, especially in certain situations, that it should not be an option. In certain situations, we could talk about that another time, though.
No, I'm actually, because now that you bring it up, I can think of very similar to like abortion or something like that. I'm sure there are instances where euthanasia is probably the best choice. I'm sure that we can find some instances like that.
Absolutely. And of course, I think it should be highly regulated in that, you know, there are certain steps that you have to go through, like a time, you know, like I don't think it should just be like, hey, you know what? I think I'm just going to go euthanize myself today, you know?
Yeah. And in her case, I absolutely don't agree with it. I don't think someone with what she's going through mentally should be allowed to make that sort of decision. You know, me personally, now, if it's someone that is suffering from an extremely painful disease and it's uncurable and, you know, those sort of things, I can totally rationalize that and change my opinion on things like that. But in the case of Azealia, I think right now the cure is love, you know, and I think she's pretty much said it.
You think the cure is love, you don't think she has mental health issues that need to be...
I totally think she has mental health issues for sure. But I think when I say the cure, I shouldn't say that because that's sort of like a final. I should say one of the remedies is love. I think you can, when you have some sort of stable love, it creates a more stable time period for you to not go into that depression. Like you're probably going to go into it at some point because it's just, you know, it's just going to happen, but it creates more of a stable time period. And like I said, I'm just speaking off experience because I tried to exercise that, you know, in that relationship.
You tried, but you couldn't help it. You couldn't stay in the relationship. It was not like, again, and that's also because that person did not get the help that they needed at that time in order to deal with their issues. You can't love somebody out of mental health issues.
True. Yeah.
But
I gotta say touche on that. I mean, but I do think it certainly helps, you know, because you know, when you listen to her,
1000% agree with that. It helps.
When you listen to her talk, she is pretty much saying that, like she's saying, "Love me," and it's kind of.
But she's saying, "Love me this way, don't love me that way," and
right,
she, like, you know, and again, like,
it's sort of like this conditional love. Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, my heart does go out to her, and if she's feeling done, I feel for her. I have no idea if she's ever discussed anything about mental health issues or meds or anything like that. But I will say there are a lot of people in this world and a lot of people in this country who get help with medication to even out their moods. Yeah. I have heard, and I've heard more people talk about it, even on the news, even like on CNN. I heard Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon talking about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, we medicate. Like we have to. Like we have to. And you know, the people have always talked about mommy's little helper. You know, like." That's a bigger conversation just on our society and what our society does to people and why people end up in a place where they need to be medicated just to survive. That's a whole other conversation. But heart goes out to Azealia Banks and to Tamar and Nick Cannon and anybody out there who is suffering. Please phone a friend. I'm going to put the suicide hotline number up after the video. Please just reach out if you are in need of support. Let the people who love you know, and just know that people do love you, and reach out and be there for each other.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. So, Nico, you are on fire today.
That's because these topics, man, Kanye gets me going.
No, I'm saying you are on fire. Like today was a great day for you. And so, I enjoyed.
Thank you, Kenny.
I enjoyed us today. This is really good.
Sure.
All right, well, guys.
Too, man.
Yep. There you go. Oh, speaking of which, I'm gonna give a shout out to my homegirl. I went to high school with her. Her name's Destiny.
Yeah, what's that? I can't see what it says.
So it says, pray, hustle, shine. This is her.
Yes.
This is
Destiny?
her product. Yeah, her name's Destiny Bramwell.
Go,
she doesn't have a website yet. I think she's working on it, but she is selling this stuff like hotcakes. She's got a great line. She's on Facebook under Ma Cherie Bramwell. Ma Cherie.
Send that
Bramwell.
to me and I'll put it up too. So, or I'll put it maybe in the description. I'll put it in the description. Yeah.
Perfect. And big ups to Destiny. But yeah, I really like my shirt. Thank you, Destiny.
I like your shirt too. It's awesome. Pray, hustle, shine. I love it. Great way to end the show.
She's doing her thing. All right, baby girl. I'll see you next week, okay?
All right.
I'll see you tonight.
You'll see me tonight.
Well, you know what I mean.
Don't start any rumors now.
All right. Bye-bye. See you guys.
Peace.